Hi everybody, I'm Jeff, Mr. Winger, and this is Fundamentals of
Draft League. Yep, we're playing Draft League again. What is up guys, it's Keegan here, and today we are back, not with Magic and not with Yu-Gi-Oh! Today we are bringing back Draft League content on this channel. I did not think the day would ever come, but we are back here with Draft League video, as, yeah, I don't even know what to say to that. Oh my god. I did not think the day would come that I'll be making another Draft League video, but here we are. We are in the NCP. This is a Wi-Fi Draft League, so we're going to be playing Sword and Shield Wi-Fi. I can finally make use for the Elgato that I see on my desk over there that I bought for Pokemon Unite. And that one didn't work out now, did it? Yeah. But we finally have a use for it today, and today it is the NCP. Really excited. There's a lot of players I don't really know in this league, so you know it's a good chance to meet some new folks, as well as play against some old friends that I've known for quite a while. Kaz is in this league as well as Liv, so some interesting opponents, and so it's a lot of fun to be had in the upcoming league. So for this season, we're going to be using the Olympique Flygon, basically team named the Olympique Flygon. I'm going to be wearing the kits throughout the entire series. I only have two right now. I do have a third one technically, but it's basically fallen apart. So we're going to use the home and away kit from this season throughout the series. So I'm super excited about that. Bring a little bit of immersiveness to the videos. But today's video primarily is an introduction to, the team, basically. It's going to be not as much of a draft analysis. I find personally there's not as much value that I as a person can give you in one of these videos. I feel like a lot of the good information can be derived from the battles as well as from the team builders in those battles. I can give you decent context around what the team idea is, but getting really into the specifics of matchups I think is where we're going to get a little bit more value out of a video like this. But I think it's good for you guys to know, get a head start as to what's going on with the team, what my plans are for the builds and stuff, and what to look forward to. I'm really excited for this. I haven't really gotten a chance to, I would say, do a creative style video for something like this in the past. Magic stuff, it can be a little linear sometimes, but I'm really excited for the opportunity for this too. As you can see at the start, make it a little bit more fun and more edited videos, so I'm really excited for that. So enough of the boring intro, let's do what you're here for, and let's actually get into the team that we drafted. Hey, are you subscribed to the channel? If not, make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay tuned with all the videos for Pokemon, MTG, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Related, because
no one's gonna convince me that what I'm saying is so rude or so unacceptable or so outrageous.
Hit that subscribe button. Alright guys, this is the team that I drafted this time around. I went with Tornadus, Therian, Slowbro, Cinderace, Kartana, Hippowdon, Diancie, Dracozolt, Throw, Roselia, and Corviknight. You can see right there a very, very balanced team. Stuff like Tornadus T, Slowbro, Hippowdon give a really solid defensive core. Tornadus T can have some attacking options as well, let's not forget that. But that's a really good balanced defensive core. Let's not forget Corviknight as well in that. So the dual combination of that regenerator core of Tornadus, Therian, and Slowbro is going to make this team very difficult to break down over time. Heavy duty boots on Tornadus T gives it a really good longevity, something that it didn't, it had in a lot of the previous gens, but you had to focus a lot of time on hazard removal. So now Torn T with that heavy duty boots becomes a little bit of a menace, honestly, in the gameplay front there. Slowbro obviously is, it's kind of in that same ballpark there, as well as a really good regenerator defensive threat. It doesn't have as much of that offensive capability that Torn T does, but certainly, finishes out the regenerator core nicely. And then let's kind of talk about how we complement this. So if you guys know me at all, I'm a player who likes to play defensively a lot of the time. So a lot of my gameplay focuses around controlling what my opponent is trying to do, and then putting myself in a position to win after that. So a lot of weakening my opponent's team down, making sure I preserve as much Pokemon as possible. That doesn't always work out. I sometimes throw them away for no reason, but that is usually the game plan I go for. And what I've complemented with this time is a little bit of a mix between a half sand core. So we have Hippowdon, a really solid rocker, and defensive Pokemon in its own right. You know, definitely worth the 13 points regardless, I would say. But then a Pokemon like Dracozolt really, provides that extra threat with the sand that, gives Hippowdon, while being a really good defensive Pokemon, you want it to fit that role. Its existence on a team, promotes a pretty big offensive threat in Dracozolt there as well. So that's, kind of what I'm going for, and part of the attacking side. And the other side, you can see there's Cinderace and Kartana. So it's using that momentum and, defensive advantage gained by stuff like Tornadus, Slowbro, Corviknight to gain momentum, gain advantage over the opponent, force them to make plays, and, give me the opportunity to capitalize on my opponent's mistakes against my, defensive team. I think, U-turn, teleport, and U-turn, respectively, on Tornadus, Slowbro, and Corviknight, really allow me to use their defensive capabilities to my advantage and get in Pokemon like Cinderace, get in Kartana, get in Dracozolt under Sand. Really opens up a lot of windows for that to work out well. Now, one thing you might notice here with these offensive threats is most of them are physical threats, which is kind of, maybe interesting to look at with that. Maybe that's a little bit of my Gen 3 bias coming in there, and that I'm, physical threats are very prevalent in that gen, in the OU metagames, depending on the time you play. But I do think the balance between, Cinderace and Kartana, I do think synergize well in the threats that they attack and the threats that they answer. And they're strong enough that it almost doesn't matter what's in front of them. Pyro Ball from Cinderace is going to deal a lot of damage to basically anything neutral. And what it doesn't do a lot of damage to neutrally, Kartana probably is going to do a lot of damage. Or it gets, controlled in the long game by, stuff like Corviknight, which is a good complement to, maybe the bulky normals that, might give a combination like Cinderace and Kartana problems. Corviknight comes in and can answer those very, very well. With a myriad of options. We won't get too into detail. I don't want to reveal all my secrets yet. And then Dracozolt gives that, that extra, the extra level to go to. In that, Sand Rush allows it to beat out common Scarfers that you might see, to beat a Cinderace, to beat Kartana, and then and punish those type of builds that you have to bring to counteract a Pokemon like Cinderace. One of my, my tenets, my common build philosophies in Gen 8 specifically, but in the newer gens, is the game revolves mostly around the fastest Pokemon in the matchup. And everything can kind of be determined because of that. So a lot of the Scarfers that will come will be determined because of that. A lot of the common defensive mons will be, set up to deal with that fastest Pokemon. And everything kind of falls down from there, because usually the fastest Pokemon will end up being the best in the matchup. And, a Pokemon like Cinderace, I think, is a really good way, is a good mod to, for the most part, give me that advantage. There's going to be a few Pokemon that I won't have that advantage against, Dragapult being one of them. But Cinderace is a really good mod to, to more likely than not, be the person with the fastest Pokemon, and being able to dictate my team build, primarily as my opponent is going to be the one forced to, run the common Scarfers, run the common defensive threats to deal with the fact that I have the quickest threat in the game. So that's kind of one of my main philosophies. You can tell saying that I probably drafted a lot more Dragon Ball teams than I'd like to admit in Gen 8, but that's kind of the common, the common theme you're going to see with a lot of the builds in this league. So that is going to be the end of the introduction to the NCP. A little bit of a draft analysis, but mainly an introduction. In the first week, we are going to be playing Amol and his Montreal Scarapis, so stay tuned for that. Every week on Friday, we will have an upload. So I'm really, really excited for this season. I think I've always enjoyed Wi-Fi battling. I know as a player, Gen 4, YouTube Wi-Fi was one of my favorite things, watching on YouTube back in the day. So I'm excited to go back to something that I've really enjoyed. Showdown, Draft League at a certain level got really stale and it just wasn't as enjoyable enough for me anymore. And I think coming back to here, I'm going to be really, really eager to get into it again. So if you guys haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for every upload coming, not just for Pokemon. If you're interested in Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, stay along for the ride for that as well. Like the video if you can as well, and leave a comment down below. What do you think of this team? Where do you think we will finish at the end of the season? I think there's 8 weeks, so maybe your record prediction as well. You know, leave it down below. But that is going to be the end of the video. I will see you guys next time, and as always, have a wonderful day.